All right, everyone, welcome back to Stick to Football. Me and Matt are very happy because Rob Corddry is not only joining the show, he's here with me in New York City.
That's right.
Season 4 of Ballers.
Because I put in that little extra effort and got here.
Every time. And flashback, Rob was at the old Bleacher Report office 2 years ago at Simpson Lefko.
Yes, that's right. I was.
Yes, I rewatched this morning. So that makes me, I have to ask, season 4 of the show. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
When does it sink in that you have a hit show? Because you've done a lot of different stuff, and I feel like, how long does it take to know?
Really, it's just like, it's no different. It's when they say it. You know, like HBO is like, this is our biggest comedy. And we were like, oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing this for
what do we get for that?
Yeah.
Well, what do I get a car? Do I get a Porsche? What?
That's awesome. Well, judging from the trailer, too, obviously, the show seems to be taking on a new setting, correct, this season? You guys are going to be, is it all L.A.?
Yep. Well, we shot Miami the first 2 seasons.
Yep.
Last season, we shot in L.A., but doubled it for Miami, like with a lot of green screens and stuff like that. We just shot at the beach. So it looked, we pretended it was Miami. This time...
Fool me.
Yeah, right? This time around, it's... They just dropped all pretense, and they're like, they're in L.A. Who cares?
We
just can't afford these
we're done.
These green screens. Well, that's the whole. Steve Levinson, the creator of the show, he's a perfect example of one of those creative guys that is a great producer, and he writes what he loves, and he loves these he loves surfing. He loves skateboarding. Like he's my age, and he's taking lessons, like skateboarding lessons and surfing lessons. So it's like he just wrote his love into the show, and it shows. I think that's why the show is so good, is because he's writing about what he's obsessed with. So yeah, we buy a extreme sports management company.
That's awesome. So different
doing
from
that. So
everything
different.
you guys have done.
Well, football is in a lot of the other stories, so you're still going to get that fix. But my storyline this year is so far from football.
You just can't get rid of Terrell Suggs, though. He's always hanging around.
Oh, I swear to God, he's probably here.
I think we'd hear him.
That guy's the best. Oh, I know. That guy's the best.
We'll get him on next.
He got home. Well, you try getting a word in edgewise. I challenge you. He's one of the best improvisers I've ever worked with.
Well, that's something I wanted to ask you, and I know Matt wants to jump in a second here. You work with a ton of athletes making cameos. I think that actually is a small part of the show that brings popularity to it. So exciting. What's it like working with people that have never acted before? Some of them.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because they're all very good. All of them.
That was not the answer I was expecting to hear.
Well, it wasn't the answer I was expecting to experience, basically. But it was around the second season when I realized why. At least this is my theory, that every Sunday, right, they go out and their job could kill them. They're most likely going to tear a muscle someday. Acting, compared to that, is super easy. It's just saying lines believably.
The comfort level and everything, yeah.
So I think they're nervous at the top, and then they realize, like, oh, this is not digging holes. And they ease right into it, man.
That's awesome.
It's really not that hard.
That's not
Actors will tell you it's very hard.
I don't believe that.
It's not hard.
Rob, I wanted to ask you, man. Obviously, we're all excited for Ballers Season 4, but I think most people, definitely my first introduction to you as an actor was, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your breakout was Old School, which is a classic, like one of the most quotable movies of all time. And I would kick myself in the ass if I didn't get to ask you about that experience.
I'm so glad.
And for that to be your launching point and it to be one of the greatest movies, in my opinion, of all time.
It's a good movie. I love that movie, but I don't know. It was hardly like, I don't even say anything in that movie. It was my first movie. We had lines, like the older guys in the fraternity had lines, but they tested it for audiences, and the audiences just didn't get it. They were like, why are these old people here?
So
What?
is it?
What's the bald guy in a fraternity again? And why is he talking? So they just cut all of our words.
So when people recognize you, what is the common like that? Oh, is it, from Ballers, or is it from Daily Show, or obviously Hot Tub Time Machine is? That'd be my pick for the most.
I get probably like Lugal more than anything. Yeah,
that's what we were talking about in the makeup
I'll hear
room.
that like being yelled across the street at me. And then, but it's weird. Like I'll have to admit, I profile people.
Okay.
Like if you walk up to me and you're like, you look like Alan Alda and you're from the Upper West Side and you have a NPR tote bag, it's probably The Daily Show. If it's if you're between the ages of like 35 and 20, normally male, it's Hot Tub. And this is a weird one. If you're a Latino man, it's usually Harold and Kumar. I don't know why that is.
You have this down to a science too.
No, I've thought a lot about it.
Yes.
Actually, W was on yesterday when I was working. How many times do you get it from that side of the
that
table?
was just the first time. You asking me right there was the first time ever. Not a lot of Ari Fleischer fans out there.
So stepping away from the show, I know you're a Sox and Pats fan.
Yep.
A lot of success between the both, especially right now with the Sox.
You're saying that like I have to apologize to you.
I'm a Jets fan.
Okay.
So I'm not a Yankees fan, though.
I like the Jets. Of course you're not.
Yeah, I'm a
Mets, right?
Done.
Yeah.
You're a New Yorker deep down, so you know the deal.
I get it.
Is there one you enjoy more than the other, or is there a rise that you've enjoyed more than the other? Because both franchises have really bounced back in ways we've never really seen before.
That's interesting. I realized lately that there is a part of me that misses not having won a World Series in a way, and that's so lame to say. It's so lame.
I'm jealous.
Like they like the best team in baseball right now, and I'm like, oh, I remember when we weren't winning. It was more fun, but it wasn't. It was just different. Now we're kind of the bad guys.
You 100% are.
Well, the Yankees are always the bad guys, right?
Always root against the Yankees.
But
so which would you rather see though, a Sox series or another Pats Super Bowl?
Well, we're gonna get a Sox series this year. I don't have to worry about that.
The confidence.
I would like another Pats. I would like Brady and Belichick to win another one together. I think that'd be really cool.
So you worry they'll like ride off into the sunset?
Yeah,
together?
I kind of hope the clock is ticking there. So we should squeeze in as many as possible because we've worn out our welcome, to say the least. But I love like having been a Red Sox fan my whole life. And they were good guys. They were like practically America's team for a while there, like the Cubs,
It's the underdog, too.
Yeah.
We always get behind the underdog as Americans.
Of course. And I hated the Yankees, couldn't understand why anybody would root for the Yankees. But then, and I wasn't as big a football fan as I am now. So I was, and then when I was rooting for the Pats, I realized like, oh, this is the thrill of rooting for the bad guys. It's awesome. I love rooting for the villains.
You against the world mentality. And that's how they are as a franchise. It's always them against the world.
Yeah.
And speaking of them against the world, I'm sure The Rock is going to make a movie soon that's him against the world. But what's he like to work with just on a base? Yeah, getting to see someone who went from, we talked about him earlier, he was like just a football player. And then, this guy's going to wrestle. And it's like, he's going to try to act. This is going to be funny.
Yeah.
And now he's literally the biggest person and thing in the world.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier too. It wasn't he was in the Tooth Fairy, right? That movie years and years ago.
Yes.
A long journey from the Tooth Fairy to where he is now, like the highest paid actor in the world. It's crazy. I don't know. Having known him now, I believe it. Like the guy was gonna succeed. He'll succeed at whatever he does. He's that mentality. Like I really envy and then can't stand because I envy it. Like, because I don't have an ounce of that in my body.
But your guys' dynamic is so good because of like.
No, of course. Like, we get along really well. Yeah. It's just that like, I'm like, ugh, of course you're doing this and this and this too. Oh, and you have a documentary on this about prisons. Yeah, no kidding. The guy can do anything. He doesn't get tired.
So I'm from New York, and I was reading up on when you moved to New York.
Yeah.
And I know you probably get this a lot because, of course, the Wikipedia says handing out the Mexican restaurant menus. And
Meninito.
I need to ask you about the security guard job, though, at the Met.
Yeah.
Is you were like the first like night at the museum. Is that how this was, or you just, or was it
more like,
uneventful?
It was more like daytime at the museum. Yeah, it was basically me and my best friend at the time and all these old salty dogs that have been there for years. They were the head of the security at the time were retired cops, and they would give us a tour before we actually put our uniforms on for the first time and got to work. But the guy, I just remember, he goes, and over here is the European section. Oh, quick question. Do I have a gun and can I shoot someone legally? And we were all like, no. He's like, wrong, I can. Let's move into this section. Like,
just kept it moving.
They're like packing the heads of security at the Met Museum.
How is that?
Well, they were all like, I think, pretty hooked up, those guys.
Yeah.
So, I think they had friends.
How long did that job last?
That I think I did I only do jobs. I had a ton of jobs in this city before I started making enough money acting. Wait, what was the question? I want to get this one right.
How long did you work that job?
Yes. I would only work any job for a year.
Okay.
And I swear to God, it got down to a science where on day 364 and a half, I would do something to get fired from that job, and then I would come collect unemployment.
Okay, so you were just over it.
Oh yeah. No, I was not. I didn't want to get settled anywhere. I didn't want to have a plan B. I was working at Goldman Sachs, making great money. It's like somehow the assistant to the assistant to the assistant of the general counsel.
So the assistants there have assistants. I mean, I believe that.
Yeah. So like, but I couldn't believe I was in this position. I'm making a lot of money, and after a year, the day of, I put my feet up on the desk because I knew that would piss my boss off. Sure enough, fired the next day. Told not to
fired. Not even a warning.
Called at home.
Not even a warning.
Nope. Do not come back in.
That's unbelievable.
And I was like, God, it was almost too easy.
That's unbelievable. So we're obviously really excited for the show coming up in a new setting, which I think brings new cameos. Can you spoil any cameos for this season? Jared Goff already came out and claims he's on the show.
Yes,
because he's like, it was so local for us. He goes, I drove down there for an hour on set, and I was good to go.
You could probably expect a lot of him over the next couple seasons.
Okay,
Gurley would be great.
Maybe you guys could actually get Aaron Donald.
Yeah, well,
someone's got to find him.
Yeah, he needs some money.
We'll work on it. My cameos, this season, no. Like, there were cameos, but they were all guys I didn't like. They were all famous surfers.
Yeah,
I have no idea who those guys
I wouldn't know either.
We did work with this one group of kids, this like skateboarding collective called Illegal Civilization. And they're all these like 20-year-old kids who are skateboard punks from North Hollywood, and one of them is really ambitious, and he's like their leader, and he got a production company. He's a director. They're all doing movies now, and they are playing themselves in this season, and they're hilarious.
That's an interesting dynamic. So they're like locals, essentially, that were brought into the show.
Yeah,
it's
local
authentic.
Boys made good. It didn't get more authentic than these guys. Like, if you don't like the smell of weed, stay away from their trailers.
Yeah. You just accept what it is.
Yeah. They were full on.
Has there ever been anyone specifically, I know we talked about, obviously, Suggs, but anyone specifically that you really enjoyed working with or had like a weird experience with?
Not really a weird experience, but I would say Victor Cruz was probably my favorite because I went to UMass,
of course,
too, and so we were bonding over that, and he was just the nicest guy in the world. They're all such nice people.
See, that's and that's what people always mix up too, because we have obviously athletes come in here for the shows, and they're just always not what people expect. I think
no, because there is a certain, except for the outliers, there is a certain like decorum that they have to follow. Like they wear suits to the games, and they're raised in a way like to be that disciplined. They are often also very polite and very personable people.
So one thing we do on the show with every single guest, we ask them 5 really random questions to close out the show.
Great.
And it's called the Gauntlet.
We're
putting you through the Gauntlet.
Let's run it.
All right, these get weird.
I'm gonna be a ninja when it comes to this.
Oh
Go.
well, this is you're already jumping
This is
ahead.
definitely your arena.
I'm gonna ninja the gauntlet.
Number one, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Flying.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay.
Because you've heard that thing, right? Like, there's basically two superpowers worth talking about: flying and invisibility.
That was gonna be my follow-up.
But that somebody did a story on this. Like, if you choose flying, that means you're a good person inherently. If you choose invisibility, you're inherently not a very good person.
So you were.
I'm prepared. I was prepared.
Rob was more prepped for that question. That
Yeah.
people like blindly answer, and we don't get a ton of flying. Invisibility. I mean, with football players, invisibility is a favorite because of being on the field.
bird.
X-ray vision has been high up there.
Yep.
I want to fly. Oh, see, X-ray vision, inherently
Yeah,
bad
that's
person.
a bad one.
I want to soar with the Eagles.
Oh, that's all right.
Question 2.
All right, Matt, go ahead.
All right, Rob. The one game that none of your like friends on set can beat you at, whether it's like playing poker, if you guys, you probably don't kick back and play a lot of Madden like a lot of our athlete guests do, but is there like one thing you're just really good at?
Yeah. I'm very good at Scrabble.
Oh,
Because you know the secret is, don't play the words. Don't go for big words. Play the squares. Don't play the tiles. Play the squares. Triple letter score. You better put a J on that.
So you don't play words with friends then, right? Because people could cheat.
Oh, I used to all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I don't mess
No,
with that. That's
you're
fake
old school.
Scrabble.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's,
old school with
Wow.
the little tiles and the board. All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Never heard that
Well,
one.
listen, I don't want to brag, but I do have a Scrabble Deluxe at home, which has
Okay.
grooves so the tiles don't move.
Wow,
You
you
know,
are
that's
ahead
not
of
a
the game.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been around. I've been, kicking around for a while, guys.
does it come on the road with you?
Yeah, I can take it everywhere. There is a travel one. I do own a travel Scrabble.
You need to be sponsored by. This is the
Scrabble.
perfect.
I'm
yes.
gunning for it right
Yes,
now.
no, you're killing it.
Yeah.
So
Hasbro or
The
whatever.
face of Scrabble.
number 3,
Ladies.
what's your favorite sports memory? Just one, because I know you have a ton of championships you've gotten to see.
All right, this is a terrible
Yeah.
memory I have,
I like
but it's
that
a
dynamic.
funny one. And you'll like this one, being a Mets fan. 86.
Okay.
The ball goes
I mean-
through Bill Buckner's
wow.
legs. The whole family is watching. My dad stands up slowly, walks over to the wall, and starts banging his head against it.
Oh my god! Any
And
damage?
We're all silent because it wasn't doing it hard enough for me
Yeah.
to really hurt himself, but he did it for a long time, and we were like, it was just way out of character.
Yeah.
So we were like,
Wow.
is he gonna be okay? Is he gonna be the same?
See, I enjoyed that so much because my dad raised me as a Mets fan. I've
Sure.
only gotten the other side of the story, like the celebrating of it. So
Like how these guys so loaded on cocaine could win
yes.
such a series of
I mean,
situations.
every amphetamine
Oh my God.
possible
That
was
was
in their
like-
body.
Saturday Night Live in '75. It's in the Mets locker room.
It's unbelievable. All right, Matt, go ahead.
All right, next one, buddy. If you're stranded on a deserted island and you can only pick one person to be there with you, who would it be?
Can't bring your wife.
Yeah, that's true.
My wife would be useless. I would bring a grip. You know what a grip is?
No.
So a grip is the guy that, like, you see him in movie credits.
okay.
Grip,
yeah.
best boy, best boy's an electrician. Grip is the guy that does everything else. They lug stuff. They can build anything just with electrical tape. Like, if you want you need a resourceful person with you on this island, and there is no more resourceful a person than a grip.
Wow.
I know that's not a great answer. I tried to jazz it up for you.
No, you've now
That's good.
you've dominated question 1 and 4 more than any guest has.
Thank you.
I mean, the preparation.
Well, what did other people
Did
say?
you-
Like J-Lo?
Beyonce,
Beyonce
Rihanna.
would not
Bear
be a
Grylls.
bad
Yeah.
person to have on an island.
Yeah, Bear Grylls.
Grylls is a
Yeah,
popular-
that's
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I'm an Eagle Scout. I can take care of myself out there.
yeah.
But I mean, I can't build a fort.
What Deion
Deion
Sanders
said
brought
Jesus.
Jesus, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how that works.
I don't know.
I know that's not fair.
Maybe for a meal, like have dinner with Jesus, just to say what's up. Jesus is just okay with me.
Yeah, he's not getting you out of there.
No, but he's not getting. I'm not going on an island. He
He
might
would
just
leave there
walk
for
away.
40 days.
He'd walk away. He'd walk across the water, right?
Yeah, and then but he'd leave. He's not gonna like hold you.
He better turn something into wine before he goes.
All right, the last one. Rob's too good at the gauntlet. I feel like somebody slipped him these questions.
Right.
But
I think so.
I
too.
want 10 questions.
yeah, next time you're back, it's happening. If you could be any athlete in any sport, who would you want to be?
I would be. And can it be any time?
Anytime.
Billie Jean King.
Okay, that's.
Billie Jean
I
King.
have no argument for that.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't even have to explain it.
No,
it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Billie Jean King.
Rob, thank you so much. Obviously, guys, check out Ballers. It's airing Sunday, August 12th at 10 p.m. on HBO. Ton of fun. The guy.
Wait, what do the athletes say when you ask them what athlete would you be?
It's actually.
Oh, yeah.
It's always somebody that they grew up watching, right, Matt?
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
does anybody ever say
the
themselves?
obvious ones,
Yeah, no, but
Michael
it's.
Jordan,
Yep.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah. Okay.
We've
Okay.
had Billie Jean King before, actually.
I wouldn't be. I'd be Bo.
Oh.
That'd be pretty cool to be
yes.
able to walk on walls.
Yeah, and literally play every sport if you want to.
Yeah, I could do that. That'd be my number 2.
Yeah, we have had a Billie Jean King before. So
Was it a dude?
no, was it Carrie
No.
Champion?
See?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was Carrie
Right.
Champion.
No,
So.
no, well, I'm the first dude.
Yeah, you are.
I nailed it.
You made a lot of landmarks on the show.
Did I win?
Yeah, no, you won. We
won.
have a
Yeah.
stick to football winner, folks. The first one.
Yeah.
We are giving out the
Get him a hoodie,
stickies.
Connor.
We're giving out the sticky awards at the end of the year, and
All right.
you might.
I want my face up on here
Yeah.
and the word champ under it.
Something tells me you're going to be sent some hardware, and you're going to say to all your people, "Who the hell is this? What is this? This is garbage." But
It's going to be like Scrabble tiles that spell out sticky.
Ugh,
And
that'd be
it's gonna
terrible.
special.
all right, guys, stay tuned.
So
We'll be
many
back
Scrabble.
after this.